Hi, I'm Janet from Chez Les Fleur podcast, and this is where we talk to women in business, entrepreneurs, small business owners, husband and wife teams, people that are rocking it in the entrepreneurial world. We love to hear their stories, their ups, their downs, their ins and outs. So if you're joining Chez Les Fleur for the first time, we welcome you. And if you're a returning guest, we are so glad you've come back to see us. Today, I'm going to talk to Brenda, and she is the action-packed hero of our Chamber of Commerce. And Brenda, I usually talk to women that own a business, but what I see in you is someone that is a woman who is helping other businesses be better businesses. Is that sort of a fair assumption?
I think it's a very fair assumption. And I think it's also important to realize that I too run a business because the Chamber of Commerce, of course, is a not-for-profit business. So a lot of the things that businesses deal with, I deal with on a regular basis while I'm helping to support those businesses.
Yeah, it's a very cool place to be, isn't it?
Nobody else does what I do, that's for sure.
Oh yeah, that's great. So how did you get to the chamber? What was your
I don't think anybody in the world wakes up and says, I want to run a Chamber of Commerce for a living. I think that we kind of fell into it. My background actually started in parks and recreation. I worked in the not-for-profit sector and then for municipal government. Was always in a role of advocacy. I was, part of daily physical activity. I was part of Smoke Free Ontario, all of those good health, quality of living, advocacy things that were happening. I lost my job because of restructuring, which happens a lot of times in smaller municipalities. And then I kind of caboodled around. I helped run a truck training academy. I was an employment agency executive director. I was a community development and recruiter for a retirement home. I did a lot of different things. And the center of everything I've done is community development, taking things that already exist in the community and making them better, connecting people to other people so that they can be stronger. Those were kinds of the things that I was doing. A position was posted for the Port Hope Chamber of Commerce about 8 years ago, and I applied for that and was lucky enough to be put into the position. Did that for 8 years. And then when this vacancy became available last year, I was keen to apply because I love Peterborough. I don't live here, but I always did my entertainment here and we would shop here. And, it's a 40-minute drive. So it was always lovely to come up and, paddle on the river, go for a hike in the woods, those kinds of things. And so here I am. It was just about the community development and the community connections.
well, and you're right. Peterborough does have a lot to offer. You really don't have to drive very many kilometers, and you've gone from downtown to some beautiful nature, rustic places. Some of the nicest places in Ontario, I feel, are not very far outside our center core.
I agree completely. Yeah, it's beautiful here.
So when you're working with businesses, especially, women-driven businesses, what do you see as some of the challenges that they're facing?
Yeah, I think businesses in general are facing a lot of issues with, the obviously the things that are happening to the south and the decisions that are being made by, the leadership there. I think there's just our own natural things, technology and uh, the everything changes so fast and so quick. I can say the word AI and some people panic and some people get really excited. I think the biggest thing that women in business deal with is the balancing act. And, we are, people joke about the fact that the dress on the women's washroom is actually a cape because we do so much. We balance home, we balance work, we balance school for our kids, we take care of our parents. There's so many things that are going on. And I think that's really the biggest struggle for women who are trying to develop businesses is keeping everything moving forward and not bringing themselves to their own limits. There's also external forces. We are in a more equitable era than we were 10 years ago, but there's still a lot more work to be done in providing equal opportunity for women. Everything from financing with the banks to job planning to being hired, to help run businesses and that kind of thing. I think some of those struggles are still real.
Yeah, I would agree. Years ago, I was fortunate enough to hear Margaret Thatcher speak. And one of the questions that she was asked at the end was, like, how did you do it? Because she was prime minister for so
Yep.
long. And she had several pieces of advice, but her last one was, you have to hire help at home.
Yep.
And I thought, yeah, you do. If if both both partners are going to go for the gusto, there needs to be some support at home.
Yes. And I'm lucky because I have a very close-knit family and we all support each other very well. And so I've been able to advance my own, interest in those kinds of things because I had a good partner at home and parents and grandparents who were, very supportive. Margaret Thatcher was not wrong.
No, no.
No.
Um, what percentage of the chamber would be women-led businesses?
I don't have that number from a statistical standpoint. It is something that we're going to start collecting as people, register and re-register every year. We want to know more about our population, whether they are women-led, whether they are an identified population-led, whether they're a brand new business, 5 years in business. There's different stats we want so we can get a cleaner picture. What I can tell you is that there are a large and growing number of female-owned businesses in the chamber membership. Every month, a new woman joins the chamber, or a few women join the chamber. I do know that at the beginning of 2025, majority women-owned businesses, which means they owned 51% or better, actually made up 20% of the business landscape in the country. So they're kind of anchoring the business world. I think here we also have a lot of major corporations that are women-led or industry leading agencies. The Chamber of Commerce is run by a woman. The Peterborough Regional Healthcare, the Peterborough Regional Hospital, the Hospital Foundation, Fleming College, Trent University. There are some women in some very large corporate world positions in this community, which is great from a cornerstone and an example setting position.
Yeah, and that's great. It's good that you're keeping those statistics because I assume too you'll also keep statistics on new Canadians starting businesses and
Yeah, that's all stuff that we want to do better at. It's not something that it actually amazes me how few organizations like those numbers just aren't readily available. So we're going to see what we can do to start tracking them within our own membership.
yeah, that's great. That's great. Um, well then, and any kind of demographic like that helps you create programs, which our chamber really, I have to tip my hat. You've got great programs and great initiatives and great recognition events and that the more information you have, the more tailored all those programs and events can be and
Yeah, and it also helps us support our partners. One of the things the Chamber has never been is a standalone organization. We work very closely with things like the Community Future Development Corporation, the Business Advisory Center, Innovation Cluster, the other organizations and agencies that also support the businesses. And so if we can get some of that stuff so that they can also help drive their programs and services, then everybody in the economy is going to win.
very true, very true. So I understand you're a voracious reader
I am.
and I mean, I'm sure you read for pleasure, but you also read business books every month.
Yeah, that's part of my pleasure. I like
Yeah.
getting the inside scoop on things or different perspectives. So when people come up with questions or ideas, I can point them in direction of different things that I'm reading.
What are you reading right now?
I actually have three different books on the go.
Okay.
The first one is by a local Cody May and Neil Morton, What If You Could? Look, I brought it with me to show you. It's
Okay.
it's the mindful and business blueprint for your life of purpose. And it's written by a couple of local Peterborough. It's by Studio Tell Your Story PTBO. And it talks a lot about gratitude and empathy and how being human really can help you advance in the business world. So it's a great read. I'm also reading this one. Oh, I don't know if you can see anything. And it says, nice girls still don't get the corner office. And it's all about the unconscious mistakes that women make that can sometimes sabotage their careers. And it's, you know, little things like mistake number 21 is multitasking. And it says, just because you can do something doesn't mean you should do it. And it talks to you about, some of those great things. I love mistake number 82 is asking permission. Children, not adults, ask for approval. Be direct, be confident, and just do it. Don't ask. So there's a bunch of different things. And then the last one I'm reading is to try and understand the workforce a little bit better. Just started this one over the weekend, and it's called Generations. And it's the real differences between Gen Z, millennials, Gen X, boomers, and silents, and what they mean for America's future.
Yeah.
Because it's the first time that 5 different age groups are working in the same workforce. And it's
Yes,
creating,
very, very true.
and it's creating some really interesting circumstances, situations, that kind of thing. So yes, oh, my camera flipped. So I've got 3 different things on the go right now.
Awesome. What is your favorite business book that you've read? I know it's like picking a favorite child, but
Well, there's actually 2 that I go back to a lot. Um, one of them is how to win friends and influence people.
Dale
It-
Carnegie.
yeah, like it's a diehard. Like mine is all crinkled and I got post-it notes and sometimes. And the other one that I've started turning back to sometime is a little more philosophical, and that's The Alchemist by Paulo Coelho. And it was actually introduced to me by a 17-year-old hockey player who was using it, for goal setting and that kind of stuff. And I was like, what does, like, yeah, a 17-year-old male hockey player. And after I read it, I understood why he turned to it as much as he did, because there's some really great parables and philosophies and that kind of stuff in it that just redirect you with life purpose.
Wow. Great. That's fabulous.
Yeah.
Um, what exciting things are happening down the road for the chamber?
Well, we're in a bit of a rebuild. We've had some staff move around and move on to new opportunities and stuff. So we will have some new staff being introduced in the next little while. We have, our TBXs and our Chamber AMs, our monthly events are being well received, and I think we're booked until like next spring with businesses that want to host and deliver on those, which they're always fun as typical. We're doing a lot more with the county because the chamber is both city and county. So we've got some great coffee in the county activities coming up so that businesses can explore other businesses outside of the city limits, which is always exciting. The Luminary Awards are in May, and of course the Business Excellence Awards will come up in October. So there's lots of things happening.
Now, the Luminary Awards focus on women. Is that
That's right, 100%. It's
yes?
women in business and women leaders in the community.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing.
Yeah.
So if you had a new member who was running, who was a woman with her own business, new member to the chamber, what advice would you give her?
I would tell them that the best thing they can do is get connected, that nobody in business should stand alone in business, that other people have experienced the joys and the wins, but also the pitfalls and the hardships of running a business, especially those with entrepreneurial spirit. I would say that they should 100% talk openly about the things that keep them up at night because other people have experienced it and they may have solutions and things that can help them. Nobody is alone. And if you feel like you're alone, then definitely join the chamber because we'll connect you to the people that are going to help you solve your concerns.
Yeah, excellent, excellent advice. It's, that old silo thing. You're not in it alone. There's lots of people that, even if it's just, even if what all you need is a rah or you'll get through this. It makes a difference. It really
And
does.
and there are women who will tell you exactly what needs to be heard, because like I say, they've experienced it.
Yeah.
And there's so much balancing that has to happen, and you got to be able to sit it down and say, what's my next move and where am I going to go? And keep talking about those things because otherwise nothing's going to move you forward.
Yeah, very true. And I think women are good at recognizing that we do have that info and we are willing to share. And I think when younger women recognize that you're just sharing because you have that to share, there's no ulterior motive. It's just, hey, we're all here to help you and we all want you to be successful. And here's some advice, take it or leave it, but happy to share.
Yeah, I think every circumstance that women are in, they need to look at other women, right? Like that uncomfortable moment when you're in a meeting. I've been in meetings with men, and not that I'm bashing by any means, because I've worked with some really amazing men too, but they give that comment or they say something, and thankfully there's another woman in the room that you make eye contact with, and they help divert and deflect and shift it around really quick,
Yeah.
or you're at the bank and you're trying to figure things out and you walk away frustrated and somebody who knows you sees you and they ask you a question, share your information, talk to each other. Like you said, nobody wants to hurt anybody. It's not human nature to be, vindictive and cruel. We want people to be successful. So let us help you.
Yes,
Asking for help is not a sign of weakness, it's a sign of strength.
absolutely. Absolutely. And, for those of us that believe that small business is the backbone of communities, it's so true. And, if our doctor told us we needed calcium for bone health, we would take it. And so if help from another woman in business is helping you grow, the backbone of our community, of course you're going to take it.
That's right. Yeah, you should absolutely take it.
Well, I know you've got a lot on the go, and we are fortunate here in Peterborough to have the Chamber of Commerce that we do that's active and proactive and out there and visible and having leaders like you moving everything forward. So I don't want to take up too much of your time. We do appreciate you being here, but if you're up for it, I've got a couple rapid fire questions if you're prepared to answer them.
I am not afraid to share anything.
Excellent. Okay. If you're ready, Biebs or Drake?
Neither, but I'll choose Beebs.
Yeah, good. I'm a Biebs fan too.
I just because of the hockey thing. That's why I like
Orange or apple?
Apple.
Gummy bears or Sour Patch?
Uh, I'll take gummies. Yeah, gummies.
Reynolds or Gosling?
Definitely Reynolds. I've met Reynolds and shook his hand, so I have
Oh,
to go with
really?
Reynolds. Well, he helped name a hockey arena in Coburg after a young girl that passed away from cancer that he met. Grace Bowen was a young girl, and so he came and had the city rename the arena after her because he met her in the hospital. So
Oh, isn't that lovely?
yeah, he's quite lovely.
Yeah.
He's quite lovely.
Runners or sandals?
Depends on the outfit I'm wearing,
Okay.
but yeah, probably runners because I'm
Great.
on my feet all day.
Yep, moving and grooving.
That's right.
Brenda, thank you very much for being with us today. You're such a wealth of knowledge for our chamber. You're so proactive for our city and our county, and the place is rocking, and you're doing such a fabulous job with your team, and we're really fortunate to have as many great things in this community as we do, and you and the chamber are certainly one of them.
Thank you. And I appreciate being given the opportunity to help make a difference and lead the Peterborough business community with my partners and stuff. So thanks. And thanks for having me, Janet.
Well, thank you for taking time because I know you got a lot on the go.
Yeah, we're moving.
Yeah, good. If
Okay.
you're watching Chez Les Fleur for the first time, we welcome you. And please join us again next time. And if you're a returning guest, thank you for being here. We look forward to our next guest. And Brenda, we thank you again for taking time to be with us.
Thank you.
See you
Bye
soon.
now.
Bye-bye.